Welcome to the World Congress 2023 World Federation of Colleges and Polytechnics. In this stream, we are discussing about leading sustainability, and the title for this presentation is Zero Waste, a strategy for TVET institutions in Kenya. The presenters for this project are three persons, basically experts in this area, and I believe you'll be able to appreciate the initiatives of the presenters and the initiative of this project. At this particular point, I just want to basically introduce all the presenters, and I will start with Grace Titi. Mrs. Grace Titi Otieno is a long-serving and experienced trainer in TVET, currently a deputy principal at Butere TVC, that is Technical Vocational College. She is a professional with a high degree of technical skills in textiles and has contributed a lot in the development of textiles training programs. She has also ensured that part of the training program in terms of assessment and entrepreneurial growth in TVETs is also activated, both at the craft and diploma levels. She is a PhD student at UNICAF University in Zambia campus. She has contributed a lot in the labor market analysis through surveys and sharing experiences at various conferences. She is a certified mastercraft trainer for industry and board member of African Foundation of Quality E-Learning in TVET. Grace is also a member of the National Technical Committee implementing open distance education learning in Kenyan TVET institutions. Last and not least about Grace is that she's a global TVET leader and a 2019 alumni of the UNESCO UNEVOC TVET Leadership Program that was held in Bonn, Germany, 2019. The next presenter will be Mr. Richard Yahuma, who is also a technical trainer with close to 20 years of training in information and communication technology. He is specialized in hands-on web development and systems administration experience at both the private and public sectors. Richard is a Mastery Award winner in mobile applications development in 2017 by IBM. He is currently the vice chair. He's currently the vice chair of the Communications Committee for the Internet Society Kenyan chapter. He is an alumni of the Center for Development of Advanced Computing in India, where he was trained in the specialized program for the design development and implementation of e-learning courses in TVET institutions. He currently works as a senior vocational and technical trainer in charge of ICT services and coordinating online and distance learning at Butere Technical Training Institute. Last and not least is myself, Mrs. Nancy Olokoth, a long-serving TVET trainer in agriculture and environmental studies at Ramogi Institute of Advanced Technology in Kenya. Currently, I'm pursuing a PhD at UNICAF University and also a member of World Federations for Colleges and Polytechnics. In this particular membership, I sit in the Sustainable Development Goals Group, as well as the Applied Research and Affinity Group. I'm also a member of the Organization for Women in Science Development, Mothers in Science, among other various associations and groups. Currently, I am the Deputy Head of Department for Agriculture and Environmental Studies at Ramogi Institute of Advanced Technology. Apart from my being a deputy head of department, I am also the focal person for gender mainstreaming on performance contracting and also a committee member of the open distance e-learning. I happen to also chair the income generating activities in our department, that is Agriculture and Environmental Studies. And apart from that, I also am a master trainer in gender mainstreaming and a trained facilitator in various aspects of teaching and learning. Due to the fact that I'm a focal person for gender mainstreaming, I chaired the committee that was developing the gender mainstreaming policy, and for that, I have developed the institutional gender mainstreaming policy together with the open distance e-learning policy, and also participated in various research conferences. With this, I've also been able to do several publications, both within our country and also internationally, in various conferences that I've been able to attend. I have also participated a lot in environmental conservation activities, basically institutionally, regionally, and nationally. In the year 2018, I was awarded a National Honorary Award for Creativity, Innovation, and Being a Social Change Maker by the World Intellectual Property Organization. The most recent is that I have been undertaking a course in TVET Leadership Program organized by UNESCO UNEVOC, and for this, I'm also a global TVET leader. Thank you very much for listening to these various introductory or biographies of the presenters that will be basically speaking to us in this Congress. And I want to believe that you will be able to get the glimpse of this presentation. And before we get into the more details about this presentation, it would be wise if we have an icebreaker just to watch a video clip that will help us internalize and understand where we are coming from and where we are going in terms of waste management in our various TVET institutions. So at this particular point, I want to invite Mr. Richard Yahuma to kindly share with us the video clip that we made just to show us what kind of wastes are formed or are generated in each and every TVET institutions in department, all the academic departments, whether they are organic waste, whether they're kitchen waste, food waste, industrial waste, and all that. So welcome, Richard Yahuma, to share your screen on basically the video.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Just a reminder for you to enable the participant sharing of the screen. It's currently disabled. Thank you. Thank you very much. I can see it. So we have some small video that we had done.
So from this video that we are watching, I believe you're able to see the different departments that we have and the various kinds of wastes that are generated in our TVET institutions. Basically, we have several wastes that are generated. For example, like now we have this slide showing us on masonry where we have a lot of broken concrete pieces, stone pieces, brick pieces, but what are the possible ways for us to be able to actually manage this waste? What measures can we put in place? And that is what this project is basically discussing. In the food and beverage department, we have waste like that are organic, they are kitchen waste, and also vegetable waste, the remains of peels of things, and this can also be managed by composting. And as we continue again, we're able to see that most of the departments, there is no department in TVET institution that does not generate waste. Some of them can be reused. For example, you can be able to see here that we can use used oil to make soaps for cleaning within the institution. And so that gives us an upper hand to talk about the 3 R's in environmental management, the zero waste. How do we recycle our waste? How do we reuse our waste? And how do we reduce the waste? Because they can also be reduced into minimum compositions that cannot interfere with our environment. In clothing and textile, we also have those who are sewing clothes and etc. and doing chemical dye, tie and dye. There's a lot of contaminated water. There's a lot of chemical, and all these can still be treated and recycled to be reused as clean water. So basically, this video is an eye-opener for us to exactly understand what this presentation is all about and where we are coming from in terms of our TVETS institutions. We have hairdressing departments, which also have chemicals, soapy water. We just pour them on the ground and they interfere with our soil, but there are various ways by which they can be reduced or they can be recycled or they can be they can be managed so that we don't have them polluting our land. We cannot forget to say that agriculture also has several wastes. Basically, the kind of pesticides we use, the kind of herbicides we use, all these chemicals interfere with our crops and also interfere with the land. And there is a way they can be used. Most of it can be through use of organic farming. Electrical department also cannot go without waste. We have fluorescent tubes, we have bulbs, there are broken switches. How do we dispose them? Do we just leave them and people step on them and they cause accidents and cause cuts? But there is the bit that we can recycle or we can reuse them. This takes us also to another department, which is ICT. We assume that ICT is all about use of computers. But at the end of the day, we have those parts that have been spoiled, those obsolete systems can still be reused, can still be, there's something at least that can be done just to ensure that the processes are up and running, that we don't interfere with our environment. We also have basically all the various departments, the support departments that we are talking about, like the stores, the kitchen stores, not now the department. We are talking about administrative offices. We are using a lot of paper. And where do we dispose them of? We just throw them around and we put them in dustbins when we can easily reuse them, we can easily reduce them, we can recycle them into different things. I believe used paper can make tissue paper, and that would be viable to basically reduce environmental degradation. So at this particular point, I want to get back to our presentation and basically continue with the actual presentation for this particular project. And I want to take us straight on to our general background as TVETs. Who are these TVETs you're talking about? What is TVET? TVET means Technical Vocational Education and Training. Now in Kenya, we have 2,348 TVET institutions, and this cuts across both the public and the private institutions. Currently, our enrollment lies at 430,594 trainee enrollment. And all these are cut across between the ministries, the private sector, which are the colleges, and also the county government. We have the national polytechnics, we have the technical training institutes, we have the colleges, and we have the vocational training centers, which basically fall under the county government. Not to finish at that, it would also be wise to give you a background on what are we really talking about in this waste. And we want to look at an aspect of a waste that affects our environment, and that is environmental degradation. A lot has been done, and you can see from the video we have just been able to show you to stimulate us and give us some urge to watch this presentation, that all these things, we throw them into the soil. When you go to the garage, the automotive garages, you find they spill a lot of oil and they leave them on the ground, and all this interferes with the pH of the soil. all this interferes with the water. When it rains, they run into the waterways. And basically our environment is degraded and it ends up not being very safe and conducive for human beings to live there and even animals, because they become poisonous to us. Not forgetting also that when we have done a lot of pollution, whether it is land pollution, water pollution, air pollution, it affects our climate. And that leads us into what we are calling climate change. And when we have climate change, it means we are not able to predict when is the best suitable time to produce food, when is the best suitable time to wait. And the temperatures increase haphazardly until sometimes you wonder whether you're really living in the continent or you have gone up into the sky, just because of global warming, and temperatures have gone up so high and crops cannot grow accordingly, and food is not able, we are not able to get enough food, and we have a lot of respiratory diseases, have a lot of skin diseases because of the sun rays, we have a lot of carcinogenic diseases, the cancers are coming in, and all these things are affecting human beings. Not even forgetting that the animals also get affected by such kind of environment. So to make our environment conducive, policies and processes have been developed through our national government, the county governments, the various ministries in charge of environment, and even the regulatory authorities that deal with environmental management within our country. Not to forget and also say that we have the main regulatory authority group that we have, which is National Environmental Management Authority, that controls every kind of aspect in terms of noise. They try to limit a lot of noise in the community. They try to limit a lot of pollution in the community. Where they find people doing spillage and industrial effluents running from industries, they try to control them and make sure the industries are able to look for a way of draining their effluents into other sources so that they don't get into the water bodies. Because at the end of the day, we take this water and we have waterborne diseases. The fish are also affected. So it means even like us who are coming from the shores of the lake in Kisumu, in as much as you're in Kenya, we'll find that the fish there is not conducive for eating because it has a lot of sulfur, it has a lot of lead, and all that is environmental. Even the vehicles we drive. And that is why petrol is unleaded, because the moment we have leaded petrol, then it means a lot of lead is emitted into the environment and we inhale it and we have a lot of respiratory infections. And that basically leads us into greening TVET and greening our countries as well. Because when we green TVET, it means the technical institutions are already into it, and that means the community will also be into it by ensuring that we have a green curricula for trainers and trainees to use while going through their technical skills training, so that they're able to know how to manage the environment and keep it safe for human living. SDGs have also been integrated, but not so much has been done. A lot has been done on gender equality, done on quality education, done on collaborations, but very minimal has been done on production and consumption of resources. And most of the time, the wastes are generated because we have us making a lot of high requisitions, wanting so many quantities of items, which we know we are not going to use at that particular moment. And we end up consuming part of it and the rest remains as waste. And we don't recycle them, we don't reuse them, we don't reduce them, and they become a lot of mess into our environment. And all this adds up to the technical skills that are basically taught in the TVET institutions. All these things sum up to what we are calling the training wastes, because they are all generated from training institutions. At this particular point, I believe I've really spoken so much, and it would be wise to also be able to listen to the other presenters, just to also feel what do they have for this project. And I want to introduce Madam Grace Titi to take us through the current scenario in TVET training in Kenya. Thank you. Welcome, Grace.
Thank you very much, Madam Nancy, for the elaborate introduction that you have given to the participants. I'll take the participants through the TVET training in Kenya and what we want to do in this particular project. Okay, the Kenyan government has seen TVET institutions to be the backbone towards industrialization. TVET institutions in Kenya have been mandated to provide skills training to various groups of people. And the curriculum is designed to prepare the trainees with requirements for the job market. And during such trainings, a substantial amount of waste is generated, which is discharged to landfills and decompose and produces harmful substances. Governmental support has further improved enrollment drastically in TVET institutions, translating to more trainings, hence waste generation. This study, therefore, found it viable to get a solution which can be used to lower and manage waste in these TVET institutions. Okay, on the project that the team anticipates to conduct, the team proposes a project which presents a collective approach to the Zero Waste Initiative. This project focuses on the 3 R's. This project focuses on the 3 R's, and it addresses the cause, the type of waste generated, and how to apply the concept of the 3 R's. That is reuse, reduce, and recycle in waste management policy. It further explores on ways to reduce waste production, consumption, and management strategies. The project also emphasizes on sharing and using best practices and strategies for developing guidelines for waste management structures. It also focuses on green TVET and waste management approaches for by purpose, country, landscape, and target group. The project is anchored on 4 keywords, that is TVET, waste management, zero waste, and collective approach. TVET institutions coming together to address waste management in order to ensure that there's zero waste in TVET, and it's done collaboratively with 3 different institutions. The project proposes 5 main objectives. The first objective is to develop a training manual on waste management for TVET institutions, to capacity build trainees on waste management strategies. These trainers will be trained on how to manage waste in different departments, in different institutions. The third objective is to develop institutional waste management system, since each institution has specific needs and they have to address it the way they manage their operations within their policies. The fourth objective is to create a network of TVET institutions and other organizations dealing with waste in different areas. And the fifth objective is to create a web application portal, which is to be used by different institutions to create a network where they can link and interact. The target beneficiaries for this project are the stakeholders of the TVET institutions, the county government, and organizations dealing with waste management and disposal in Kenya, and institutional departments in each and every institution. The project team shall include the Ministry of Education, State Department of Vocational and Technical Training, the Board of Governors, the principal, deputy principals, both academic and administration, and different heads of departments. I'll now take this opportunity to invite Mr. Richard to share with us the proposed activities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Grace and Madam Nancy. You have set the record with the presentation, and at least by now I know our participants have been able to grasp and have an understanding of what this project entails. There are several activities, major activities, of which this particular project proposes. The first one is to develop a training manual on waste management for TVET institutions. it's important for us to begin from somewhere. This manual is a manual that will be developed in collaboration with the industry players on the part of waste management, as well as government agencies that are responsible for setting up policies as far as waste management is concerned. So we anticipate having a manual that identifies the various types of waste generated per department in the TVET institutions, a manual that also identifies and develops waste processing mechanisms, a manual that entails developing guidelines for institutional implementation of waste management strategies, and also developing procedures for establishing waste management processing plans. So we look forward towards the publishing, of course, of this particular manual and making it available to the TVET institutions. The second activity is to capacity build the TVET trainers on waste management strategies. So these are the primary producers of waste, because they normally guide the practicals in which the students are able to work with and also generate waste. So to capacity build them would basically entail creating awareness and sensitization among our trainers, and of course training of trainers in TVETs on the use of the waste management manual as well. The third activity would be to develop institutional waste management system. Of course, the system would entail developing waste management policy as a guideline. It's important for us to have a policy in place, and also to fabricate smart waste bins. And apart from fabricating, also making sure that these smart bins have been installed to the various TVET colleges in which waste is produced. Then the fourth activity would be to create a network of institutions dealing with waste in different areas. Of course, it's very, very important for TVETs to speak in one language. And of course, this would entail establishing possible organizations for networking among the TVETs, as well as the industry players, those who are actually dealing with waste, including the government agencies as well. Drafting memorandum of agreements, and also initiating and concluding the memorandum of agreements with these organizations. And finally, we hope that it would make it possible to transfer the non-consumed waste to the relevant organizations so that they can be either reused or recycled. Then, of course, the fifth activity would be to establish a web application portal. It's very, very important in this age of information and communication for us to have a TVET web-based waste management software that will have features such as TVET institutional accounts, TVET institution databases, inventory management and tracking, waste disposal and disposed materials order management, as well as features to include the activity dashboard, the document management, hazardous materials management, mechanical and automotive waste management, building and construction waste management, electrical and electronic waste management, food and beverage waste management, ICT waste management, and so on, as per each and every department is concerned. We also hope to have a reporting mechanism and an analytics feature within the web portal so that it guides us with the ways of looking at trends so that we can be able to strategize well on how to go about dealing with the waste management. This web application will also link institutions with the sectors dealing with different types of waste, and of course allow for the uploading and sharing of challenges and experiences of the participating institutions. Now, we expect this project to have a tremendous impact, and some of the areas in which this expected impact lies in is an initiated interinstitutional waste management structure, a well-organized structure that allows for the effective and efficient waste management with very good ways of communicating and of course transferring whatever information that is needed from one end to the other. We also anticipate a strengthened partnership and collaboration among stakeholders for waste management in TVET. We also anticipate enhanced cooperation between TVET partners and the local stakeholders, and empowered local community through the greening TVET opportunities. It's very, very important for us to be in tandem with the expectations of our local communities, and of course to work with the sustainability. We have to make sure that the local communities are empowered towards the greening of TVET. And of course, we look forward to having an improved air and water surroundings due to the zero waste disposal. Other as expected impacts include an empowered staff through self-development opportunities offered by participating in waste management programs. We also look forward to a shared platform for knowledge sharing. And of course, this is a repository of waste management training modules and case studies, which would very, very come in handy to help both the trainees, the trainers, and the society at large in understanding the importance of having these waste management practices. Then we look forward to an increased employment opportunities to be created with this venture, as well as an enhanced environmental conservation, reduced disposal expenses, and finally to have a reduced reduced emissions coming out of greenhouses. So that sums up the expectations and activities that we look forward to. Nancy, over to you.
Thank you very much, Richard Yehuma, and that was a really great, Grace and Richard, for those wonderful presentations. I believe the participants and attendees are juggling their minds and wondering, what can we do with our environment? What is it that we have not done right? What is it that we are supposed to do right? And where we are supposed to do right is basically our conclusion that zero waste cannot be achieved if we don't follow some strategies, if we don't have guidelines. And that is why we are having this slide here with some grass on the side, and we have trees, a very nice garden with a very good environment, a very well and conserved environment that is very green. That is the greening TVET, but we cannot reach there without following these staircases. We cannot go there if we don't follow some particular steps for us to be able to achieve our objectives. I want to believe the participants and attendees just did not listen to this presentation and took it like it's a by the way, because we are here and really willing to partner and collaborate and network with most of us that are in this venture who would also be interested to carry out this particular kind of project. And for that reason, we are very, very open to ensure that you're able to communicate with us through our various emails. The three of us, our emails are there. You can be able to take them down as I still conclude and say that it was really a great pleasure. It was really nice to have you around to listen to us. I believe you could be having some questions and answers, questions that you would want to relay across to us. You can put them in our various emails, and when we get them, we'll always revert back. Where need be, we can even create another forum where we can continue discussing about greening TVET as well as zero waste in our various countries, so that we are able to know what is happening across the globe. And this basically brings us to the end of this presentation, and we are very, very grateful for you taking your time and commitment to listen to us. Not the last, but I want to conclude by saying that we will still be willing to network with all of us in a live presentation here at Canada on the 24th of April, starting from 10:30 to 11:30. You meet the three of us. Let's juggle our minds. Let's see how to manage our environment and conserve our environment rightly. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, and bye-bye.